Pharmacist Ben.
Did you play that twice intentionally?
The first time it was technical difficulty and it didn't go through, so we had to. The song's so nice. We had to play it twice.
I like the song. I do like the song. I will say, but you can get sick of it if you hear it too much. But you got some style there. You got some flavor.
Do I really? Is
Yeah,
that what they call it? Let me see
flavor.
here. I got a little. I even got light. Let there be light.
I like your style there, AJ.
Thank
All right,
you.
so I said are you near Yankee Stadium?
Closer to the Bronx Zoo at the moment.
That's what I meant by the Bronx Zoo. It was Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that Bronx. Well, I'm actually near the literal elephant and giraffe Bronx Zoo.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
See, like
Albert, they really have elephants in the Bronx. That's of all the places that I would never expect to see an elephant, it would be the Bronx.
Did you see Ringling Brothers when you were a kid?
Yeah, I used to hate that though.
You didn't like the circus?
No, I thought it was terrible to do that. Animals. I didn't like that. It didn't seem like they were having much fun. Yeah. So I was not a big circus fan. Anyway, what's going on, buddy?
You know, we have some folks who have some serious health challenges that they're dealing with, and they need us. Elise, if you're on the platform, I don't even have and Rumble folks, thank you everyone for bearing with us.
They didn't bear with us, just they're gone. They left. They didn't come back. They didn't bear with us.
You know, they bared with us, and Marilyn on YouTube, and the folks who are on Rumble. And I will set up our. We get 23 people on Rumble, so the folks love seeing Pharmacist Ben and what he's got to say.
Who said that?
They do, man. Okay, the comment, the one comment that was there earlier said this is going to be a great show, or it's poised to be a great show.
Why is it? Yeah, as opposed to other shows, like one of the better shows, you mean?
Yeah, people think it's a good show. Okay, there's Elise. So I'm going to send Elise a link so she can join us. Thanks, everyone else, for joining us today on the show. Elise has some questions. Mary also sent me a question. So let me read that first to you. And actually, a number of people have had questions that they sent in. But let me start with Mary. It might be easier for me to... Of course, it's not easy. Pharmacist Ben, can any of the natural sweetness like stevia, monk fruit, chicory root have a negative impact on blood sugar levels?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Yeah, they can. There is some evidence that says that any sweetener will affect your insulin, not your blood sugar, but your insulin. It won't affect your blood sugar, but it'll affect your insulin. And that is really the bad guy. They're both bad guys, but insulin resistance syndrome is probably more important health issue than elevated blood sugar would be. But elevated blood sugar is still a problem, glycation. So it won't affect your blood sugar, but it'll affect your insulin. That's the answer to that question. And I've seen literature that says that, and I believe it would. And also, it turns out diet soda and diet drinks are not all that great for you either. By the way, I was just reading that too the other day. So yeah, there's no getting around it. You know, you gotta. I actually think sugar in small amounts might be better than the artificial sweetener, personally. As long as it's straight sugar, not mixed with a whole bunch of fat and other calories. If it's just straight glucose or fructose, you can make your sugar cravings with just a teaspoon of glucose of fructose or sucrose. And not that that's great. It's definitely not great, but it's better than having candy bar or a bunch of cake or ice cream or something like that. with me, AJ?
What's wrong with a bunch of cake, Pharmacist Ben?
What?
What's wrong with a bunch of cake, Pharmacist Ben?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny about cake because cake has a reputation for being this kind of, really artistic, elegant kind of food, but it's really a big mess for your body. Cake. Yeah, do you ever eat tasty cakes? I used to love tasty cakes, man. Butterscotch crimpets.
Oh, the crimpets were pretty good.
Butterscotch
I wasn't
crimpets.
into. I got into crimpets a little older.
A little older. Would you tandy cakes? Were you into the tandy cakes?
But since you're on the sugars, what about the one that's in 2.0 xylitol?
The xylitol is one of the better ones. Xylitol actually is good for your teeth. It kills bacteria. They were using it for COVID, for inside the nostrils, and you can use it for ear infections. It's pretty cool stuff, xylitol, and it's sweet. That's, when you hear OL, like sorbitol, mannitol, xylitol kind of thing, erythritol, these are called technically sugar alcohols. Not like alcohol like most people think of. When most people think of alcohol, they're thinking of ethanol, ethyl alcohol. That's a specific type of alcohol. Alcohol is a chemistry term, and there's fatty alcohols, there's sugar alcohols, there's alcohol, straight alcohol. So alcohol, or I guess it's not even straight, so it's an alkyl alcohol technically. I don't know what the organic chemistry name is, but anyway, ethanol, the alcohol we drink, is completely different than ethanol or than alcohol. It's the fatty alcohol or a sugar alcohol. So sorbitol, xylitol, mannitol, OL. When you hear that OL at the end of the name, that tells you it's a sugar alcohol. It's handled by the body differently than ordinary sugar, in the sense that it goes through your intestine. But when it goes through your intestine, it can cause problems there. And that's the big knock on these sugar alcohols, is they can pull water into your intestine. They absorb water and cause bloating and discomfort, intestinal discomfort. That's really the big knock on them. But xylitol, that's not really a problem with xylitol, unless you're really, really susceptible, and it's got a lot of upside to it.
Thank you for that. And folks, I'm going to tell one of Pharmacist Ben's secrets. He is a football watcher. In fact, what team do you like? The Broncos? Or
it's like watching the game. I don't have a team necessarily, but I like the game. I think it's a really cerebral game. It like combines brain power with like incredible athletic skill.
You talking about football?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Those plays. You know what a quarterback has to remember? All the plays he has to remember, and all the things he has to see, all the ways he has to see it. And linemen, like, you ever see the way linemen do all these weird kind of stunts? I don't even know what they call them, where one lineman goes this way and one lineman goes that way, and they go this way, and it's like ballet, except with 400-pound, 6'8" human beings, or whatever, 350 pounders, right? And then the receivers, like some of the plays they make, like this stuff, Odell Beckham. It's just an amazing sport. Physical sport. I love watching it, and I love the strategy of it.
Yes, Pharmacist Ben, you are the optimist. What are good options for customers to manage pain from surgeries outside of pharmaceuticals?
Oh, there's lots. First thing comes to mind is bromelain, ultimate enzymes. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Fats, all kinds of fat, essential fatty acids, especially, but also fatty vitamins like vitamin E. Vitamin E, I say especially. Alpha lipoic acid. Pain is interesting because when you feel pain, you're supposed to feel pain. So it's hard to override pain with just nutrition. Are you doing that to me?
Yeah, folks, if you don't hear us on YouTube, please let us know if there's any sound problem. Jimbo, Kiki Soaps, if there's a sound problem. Elise, is there a sound problem on YouTube? No, Elise can hear us. Marilyn, everyone can hear us. Sorry, Ben. Please continue.
I don't even remember what I was saying.
You were
about pain.
bromelain.
I was saying how pain is the body's attempt to tell you something. So you can't really override it with nutrition. That's why they give you pain pills, and pain pills just like that's like taking a sledgehammer to you, to your nerves, basically, to your brain and your nervous system, the really good ones. And there's times when you need morphine and such, Demerol, and really strong, even fentanyl, the strong pain medication. You're not going to override it with nutrition, but if I was going to try to override it with nutrition, I would use fats and bromelain. That would be the two strategies: essential fats. I stay away from any inflammatory fats. Two, magnesium might help relax you a little bit. I think there's a really cool pain reliever, which it's a fat. I think it's called phenylethanolamide, if I'm not mistaken. It's a fatty substance, and phenylethanolamide's got there's some interesting things about pain. I'm pretty sure it's phenylethanolamide. Will you look that up, AJ? Phenylethanolamide. Pretty sure that's the molecule. Now I can't hear you though, AJ.
That's because I was muted. Thank you for doing that. PEA?
No, phenyl. Yeah, PEA. Right, PEA.
They got mean, not mide.
Yeah, it might be phenylethanolamine, maybe. Yeah.
Organic compound with the chemical formula C8.
Actually, for pain, just look up pain. And then let's answer some questions here.
Chemical stimulants found in food bacteria.
Let's try pain.
I did. Is it psychedelic? Is it psychedelic? Ambiguous.
Phenylethanolamide. That's different. No, that's different. Hang on. I have to do all the work myself.
Yes, please, because you know how to spell a little better.
You want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
That's right. Don't outsource your work, folks.
No, it is phenylethanolamine, and phenylethanolamine is chemical structure. When I think about it, I think of it would be good for inflammation and pain and that kind of thing. No, that's not it.
Interesting, for me, that you didn't mention what our next guest will probably our next guest.
You know what it is?
Cannabidiol.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the one I'm thinking of, palmitoyl ethanolamide. The one I was thinking of was called palmitoyl ethanolamide, PEA. Palmitoyl ethanolamide is in the same family as the cannabinoids. But the cannabinoids that they sell, like, the CBD stuff, you need more than that for pain.
How do you get this other one that you're mentioning? How do you extract it?
You can buy it anywhere. Palmitoyl ethanolamide. Mm-hmm. That's the molecule. It's a palmitoyl molecule. It's a fat.
The last of Mary's question: is there a good ratio of calcium and magnesium?
It's really hard to say. There's no, 2-to-1 maybe, magnesium to calcium. It's really hard to say.
Given that we're generally deficient in both.
Yeah, and calcium's a real tricky one because calcium is so important for the body that there's really tight regulations to how much calcium is going to get into your blood from the calcium you eat. Vitamin D is involved, magnesium is involved, vitamin K is involved. Maybe not vitamin K, but gut bacteria are involved, the intestinal health is involved. There's a whole bunch of stuff, parathyroid hormone, thyroid hormone, the whole bunch. Calcium is just tightly regulated because calcium is like the key that turns on all the machinery in the body, in a cell. It's the activator of a cell, is calcium. So calcium is really tightly controlled and regulated. You can't have too much calcium. That's why the bone is like a repository of calcium. And unfortunately, sometimes tissues, because calcium, the body controls it tightly. It's a very, very powerful element. So you can't really just take calcium, is what I'm saying. And magnesium is a little different. So most people get a lot of calcium, more calcium from food than they do magnesium, because most people don't eat their veggies. So magnesium deficiency tends to be a little bit more common, but they're both a problem. And you can't go by, sometimes doctors will say, oh, you don't want to take calcium supplements because your calcium is too high, blah, 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 blah. That's not how it works. That's a misunderstanding of biochemistry. Your calcium levels rise or your blood calcium rises when calcium is leached out from the bones. And the reason that happens is because your blood's acidic. So the calcium is like a alkalinizer for the blood. And then there's calcium in the blood, and the body dumps that into the tissues. It's not like you're taking the supplements. So calcium's tricky, is what I'm saying. Who's this young lady at the bottom of our screen here?
You don't recognize Elise. Elise, take her away.
Hi, Elise.
Hi, guys. Pharmacist Ben.
What happened? AJ,
What happened? I have a few questions for you.
Do you work with the show with AJ? Are you a listener?
With Becca.
Oh, you work with Becca. Okay,
She's a health coach, and she's been on with us a few Mondays ago. She just does look a little different in those glasses. She was on with her mom. She was on with her mom a couple weeks ago.
Not looking like that, you weren't.
No, she wasn't. She had different.
No, definitely not looking like that. I would recognize.
I was on one time asking you about the cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That was a while ago.
Yes, but I have a couple questions for you today. I want to get your take on people who have been floxed by antibiotics, and then I have a specific.
You talking about fluoroquinolones or antibiotics in general?
Yes, fluoroquinolone.
What are you talking about? Tell me, elaborate.
Well, I am in a group on Facebook, and these people are just wanting to go to Switzerland to have euthanasia done because they are suffering. Okay,
well, here's what you do with this, okay? And there is a thing called fluoroquinolone toxicity. You probably know what I'm talking about, right? I imagine that's what you're referring to, right? Fluoroquinolone toxicity. Right?
Yes.
So there is a thing, and it's well known among pharmacists, and we learn about it in pharmacy school. And that is one of the things that happens. And it kind of make it sound like when you take a drug, that it's just, oh, you'll be fine. You take a drug and you're fine. You're all cured. You're all healed. But that's not the case with drugs necessarily. And fluoroquinolone's like that. It doesn't happen to everybody. And so, it's not like they took it off the market or anything like that, fluoroquinolones. What I would be doing if I had fluoroquinolone toxicity, if it was me, first of all, the mechanism probably involves the intestine. I would imagine dysbiosis is one of the main mechanisms. So I would be working on all the goods. A lot of times we get symptomatic from things that wouldn't affect us if we were otherwise completely healthy. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, if you're on fluoroquinolone, obviously we're on it because you weren't completely healthy. But there's chronic degenerative conditions that make you more susceptible to fluoroquinolone toxicity. You with me?
Yes.
And that's what you want to be working on. The fluoroquinolone toxicity, you're not going to work on that unless there are some things you could do actually. But the real thing is to make the body strong. And that means the other things that are going on. Now, the people on your Facebook page, I imagine they're in their 40s and 50s, probably, maybe 60s, right? When you're in your 40s and 50s and 60s, if you're not really hip to how to take care of yourself, if you're living like the standard American lifestyle, and you're not really thinking outside the orthodoxy box to take care of your health, the chances are pretty good you're doing what everybody does. Drinking your soda, eating your bacon, getting your high blood pressure medicine, blah, 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 blah. And nobody's ever worked on their bodies. And I would bet my house that a large majority, if not everybody, on that Facebook page is in that category. So work where you can work. We get titillated by, fads and things that you hear about. And, I remember reading a study when terrorism was a big thing back in the early 2000s. And they were saying how, more people die in car accidents than terrorists, but nobody wants to talk about the car accidents. It's the terrorism thing because it's sexy. It's like in the news. It's like that. So now you got fluoroquinolone toxicity. Great. There's a million other things these people could be doing to get help. And that's what I'd be focusing on. Now, as far as antibiotic toxicity goes, just work on gut bacteria, Make sure that you're supporting intestinal health. That's probably the most important thing you could do. Support liver health because it's processed in the liver. Keep the blood clean, all of those things. Maybe use liver, like detox support things like glycine, glutamine. These are nutrients that help support liver detox. Cruciferous vegetables. Anything for liver detox, vitamin C, vitamin E. Vitamin E is really important. Magnesium, copper, those kinds of things. But I would work where they could work. If you're on the, did you suffer from fluoroquinolone toxicity?
No.
Okay, so when you go on the Facebook page, say how many of you guys have diabetes or are obese or have or overweight or have digestive issues or cardiovascular issues or you know what I'm saying? Like point those things out, and those are great places to work. That's how I would deal with it.
Okay. Now I have a client who is 55 years old. He's 6'5" and weighs 225 pounds.
Ooh.
And he suffers from diabetes, severe Charcot. He has mold in the blood and has treatment-resistant staph that they've been treating via PICC line, vancomycin.
Okay, well, no, come on now.
For the past 6 months.
First of all, let's get this picture off of here. I don't need to see this. Is that the deformity in the feet?
Yes, and they are considering amputation soon.
I imagine they are. Take that off. Take that. Can you get rid of that picture?
And he's
really lovely.
He's really going through it.
Well, because always treat him right. And if I said this before, but I love this analogy. I'll say it again. If you have a carpenter, he's the best carpenter in the world. Makes the best furniture in the world. Best cabinets ever. Beautiful, gorgeous carpenter, incredibly skilled carpenter. And you ask him to fix your engine in your car. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to take a hammer. He's going to take a nail. And he's going to destroy your engine. But he's a great carpenter, but he's not a great mechanic. If you go to a freaking carpenter and you ask him to fix your car, what do you think is going to happen? This guy's going to a carpenter to fix his engine. So of course they're going to do that. So that's number one. Number two, all diabetes is reversible. Reversible. Let me say it again, because I don't want to call it diabetes, because that gives it credit. That gives it medical credit. It's dysglycemia. It's a biochemical process. All dysglycemia is reversible. When we nominalize a health challenge, we lock it in place. Diabetes locks it in place. You know what I mean by nominal? We name it. Dysglycemia is a biochemical process, and like all biochemical processes, is reversible. That's the first thing he has to do. Now, he probably has some digestive issues too, and that's a little more complicated, but right from the get-go, he can start working on his blood sugar. That's what I'd be doing. Now, problem is he's already down the rabbit hole. He's way down the rabbit hole. So it's going to be tricky. And he's hospitalized. So it's going to be really tricky. The good news is he's probably so malnourished that anything you put in his system is going to make a difference. You follow me? Make sense? He's probably so malnourished that anything he puts into, any nutrition he puts into his body is going to make a significant difference. So give him some Beyond Tangy Tangerine for sure. That's what I would do. I don't know about the mold in the blood. Is that really true? You sure that's mold? That's a pretty serious thing, mold in the blood.
Due to the hardware and then the cadaver bone.
If that's the case, if there's really mold in the blood on top of everything else, that is a very tough one. Because mold, funguses and mold, they don't want to die. They don't die. You got to use heavy, big guns to kill them. And once it's in the blood, if that's true, that's a lot. That's a lot. I know he's on the vancomycin and all that stuff. So maybe, it's too bad. It's tragic. How old is he?
55.
It's heartbreaking. That did not have to happen. That did not have to happen at all. At all. And Charcot is an inflammation of the nerves. It's polio. Polio is a virus. This is more degenerative. This is degenerative. But it's the same idea. It's a nerve thing. Charcot. It's a group of them. There's a bunch of them. They're just inflamed nerves. And they like to name things. They love naming. They're all about naming things. It's just inflammation of the nerves.
Pharmacist Ben, give them some hope, please.
Now, yeah, really. Yeah, do what you can do. BTT for sure. Fucoid Z. Bro, he's in the hospital though, AJ. What are you gonna do? You know?
No, he's at home. He's at
Oh,
home.
he's at home.
What about a hyperbaric chamber?
Yeah, all that'd be great. Sugar. Is he gonna want to change the way he eats? He's only 55. That's terrible. That's so sad.
He's got to understand how serious the problem he has is, and the drastic change has to happen if he wants any chance of saving his foot.
Yeah, you know, he has to really immediately change his blood, all the foods he's eating that are blood sugar spiking foods, and get on the healthy blood sugar pack for sure. Lots more hydration, lots and lots of hydration, especially with Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That'll make a difference. That's what I say. The good news is he's probably so malnourished, anything you put in the system is going to help. Liquid protein, collagen peptides, TMR shake, anything you put in his body that's nutrition, dense nutrition without calories or with little calories, right? Nutrient dense. TMR shake is a perfect example of nutrient dense food. TMR shake, like that. Fucoid Z2, and then the blood sugar. That's what I would do. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
And people, don't wait until you're in the hospital with, like, you know, tubes and IVs and you're all deformed. Now's the time if you're healthy. That's a cautionary tale. Thank you.
Thank you, sweetie. See you later. All right, Pharmacist Ben. You know,
you gotta call a spade, man, when it's like that. That's heavy duty.
That is certainly true, but at the same time, you know, if I'm in the bottom of a well, you know,
I'm not like, well, you got yourself in this hospital. There's not much I could do for you to have a nice life.
No, man, you gotta,
take care of yourself there. Take care of yourself.
Throw me some rope, dude. Throw me a rope. That's what I'm looking for. It comes to
not looking for a rope, though. No, listen. Let me tell you what's different. Yes, obviously, I give you rope, but I don't get that these people want ropes. I don't get that he wants to change his life.
He wants help.
He
wants help.
How come he's not calling me?
When you're stuck in a certain system, it's hard.
You don't know.
You know.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and you don't know that there's a pharmacist who's familiar enough with the other system to tell you that there's something else that you can do.
The thing is, that much is what we're doing here is so outside. It's so crazy, like outside the norm, that people don't know this exists, kind of thing.
Plenty of people do not know. You know, and you know, it's kind of insulated because you know, a lot of the folks who know about what we do lean to the outskirts of society.
Yeah, I get it. They're we appealed, and that's interesting. I've talked about that before, doc, because that's because of doc. The people who really get longevity, they're not like the mainstream center, you know, of the circle. They're on the edges.
It's the periphery for sure.
Yeah, it's periphery. Yeah.
You know, and
you got to be a little bit. I think of me as a pharmacist. I got to be way on the periphery. One time, the pharmacy school called me up. Did I ever tell you the story? The school of pharmacy called me up, University of Colorado, and they wanted me to come talk to the students about what I do. You know, because I'm a weird kind of pharmacist, right? And so they wanted me to like have one. And I said, she calls the lady it was a secretary lady, calls me out and says, "Hey, we want you to come and talk to the students about alternative ways of practicing pharmacy." And I was like, you know what? Why don't you go online and look up some of my stuff? And then if you still want me to talk to your pharmacy students, call me back, and then I'll do it. And so, okay. And she never called me back. You know, she never called me back. So she knew that, you know, I'm rogue in a way, but I do have enough of an understanding of how that side of the world works because I've worked in hospitals and drugstores, and I've studied how that all that thing works. So I know enough. I know how the sausage is made, and I always make sure the doctors know I love them, and nurses know I love them because I do, because they're beautiful people. But the model, oh my God, the model is so awful. It's so awful. If people had any idea, I mean, they do have an idea. You just got to look at the numbers. But if they really sat with it, if you are in the orthodox world of orthodox medicine, and again, not about people, not about doctors and nurses or EMTs, or they are saints, absolute saints, and I have mad respect for all of them, all of them. But that being said, the model is just horrific for human beings. There's no way in any rational, scientifically minded chemist or biochemist could ever say that a prescription drug, a pharmaceutical that you're on for a long period of time is in any way, shape, or form something that's a positive or that's good for you, especially when there's especially with all the alternatives. So I had a big problem with the model, yes, pharmacomedical model.
I bet you do. Kiki Soaps is saying that folks don't want to change, and she knew someone who had diabetes, but all he ate were hamburgers and Coca-Colas, and he took his metformin.
And he took metformin. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way the world is. That's the accepted conventional wisdom of the world, is I can eat my whatever I want and I'll take my metformin. And I always think of the priests of old who used to say, you don't have to worry about your life. We'll take care of it for you. Yeah, exactly. You just give us your house, 10% of your income. We got you covered. We'll talk to God. You can go about anything you want to do. We know him personally. We talk to him all the time. You just go do your thing, and that's what we have today. We have drugs for that, to eat whatever you want. I love it. There's never been any proof that your food's associated with your diabetes or they don't say that, but your food with your autoimmunity or whatever, and they used to say everything. They used to say it had nothing to do with your food. Skin, they used to say skin, nothing to do with your food. Acne, nothing to do with your food. No proof, no scientific evidence. It's changed just in the last 20 years or 30 years. It's changed dramatically.
In the past
30 years ago, oh no, we don't have any idea. They used to also say cigarettes. There's no proof of that cigarettes are a problem. Never been any proof. We have no proof. Mm-hmm. That's what I said. You don't need to be a scientist to understand some of the stuff we're talking about here. This is just a lot of it is just logic and common sense. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, for sure there's a shift going on. Barbara, one of our health coaches, what would you tell someone who has internal bleeding from taking too much painkiller due to pain from scoliosis?
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. Internal bleeding. Well, it'll stop once they stop the painkiller or stop the anti-inflammatory. It should heal up. It depends on where she's bleeding from. If she's bleeding from the stomach, probably that's usually what happens. That could be pretty serious. If there's chronic bleeding, that's not a nutritional thing. If it's just I don't know. I would that could be very serious. And that's the big problem with these drugs is they change. They slow down healing. Ironically, they're anti-healing, and the stomach gets a lot of abuse. It's in a constant state of healing. So, anti-inflammatory drugs that affect the healing process. And isn't that interesting how anti-inflammatory slows down healing? You get why an anti-inflammatory would slow down healing?
Because inflammation.
You need inflammation first.
Mm-hmm.
Have anti-inflammation, but if you're constantly suppressing inflammatory chemistry, you can't heal.
Mm-hmm.
So, long-term chronic use of anti-inflammatories is definitely a problem, and bleeding is one of the common toxicities or side effects, or adverse reactions, I should say. And stop taking for sure, but that could be serious. I wouldn't. You don't want to take care of that. You don't want to do that.
Is this person going to take some aloe and some?
I wouldn't play around with it. Where's she bleeding? How's she bleeding?
Barbara, how's she bleeding, please? In the interim, while we're waiting for more details about, and I gave Barbara a link so she could join us, but she didn't click the link. But Hunter's asking, what's Ben's opinion of organic THC capsules? What the hell? Hunter, what? You fooled me with this question, man. You snuck it in. Organic dry herb vaporizer. Okay, let's bring in an expert. We have someone who is, what do you call yourself? What's your terminology?
Medical cannabis consultant.
She's a medical cannabis consultant.
Medical cannabis consultant. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what's...
Oh, Elise is a medical... I remember you saying that before.
Okay, so tell us what you think of this organic THC capsule.
What is he using it for?
Okay, organic dry herb. Hunter is funny. Organic dry herb vaporizer. Oh, Hunter.
What is he using it for?
Hunter, what are you using it for? All right. So, and Barbara does not know anything further about this woman's bleeding.
Yeah, gastric bleeding. If she notices that there's blood like in her stool, if she's got like tarry stool.
Barbara, what
like
else do you know about the bleeding? Barbara,
I don't. Oh, okay.
Hey, sweetie, what else do you know about the bleeding?
Hi,
I didn't have much time to. Hey, Pharmacist Ben, thank you so much. I didn't have much time to talk to her today, so I don't know where she's bleeding from internally. She just said she wants to talk to me next week when she gets back.
Is she elderly? Is she elderly?
No, she's probably 60 or younger. I mean, ish.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, there is. It was Tylenol. What was she taking?
Well, she said Motrin.
Motrin too. They're all. Any of them can do it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if she gets dizzy or she has if she vomits blood or anything like that, or she has like blood in her stool or black stools, that's all serious. I wouldn't mess around with that.
I think that's what she's talking about is passing blood, but so
yeah,
she
I wouldn't
wants
mess around with it. I wouldn't mess
she
around
wants
with
to talk to me next week about nutrition, and I'm not sure what to tell her.
Well, she wants general nutrition, but as far as taking care of this, that would be a medical issue, in my opinion.
Okay.
But later on, she should definitely take care of her nutrition based on her symptoms.
Right.
If she's in her 60s, she's in chronic pain, I imagine, correct?
I assume so. If she's been taking that much Motrin.
Yeah, you said scoliosis. Did you say?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff you want to do for scoliosis. First of all, scoliosis is a physiologic issue, so body work is a must. And secondly, strengthening the bones is important, and that would be. There's a lot of ways you could do that. There's a lot of things there's a lot of things you should do, and there's a lot of things you shouldn't do. So should do is the healthy bone and joint pack and that kind of thing. Digestion, intestinal or digestive support because of malabsorption is also going to be a problem. And then also avoiding things that cause problems with proteins, with bone, particularly bone proteins. And so I would be staying away from sugar like the plague as best as you can. And anything inflammatory, fried oils, processed foods of all kinds, anything inflammatory. And the combination of body work and the healthy bone and joint pack and digestive support. Those would be all the things I would do. To get rid of the pain, my mom is dealing with scoliosis and chronic pain. She's 92 though, and she's dealing with all of these chronic pain issues secondary to the body, how the body is being held, and it's just the agony that a human being can be under when their skeletal structure is starting to deform. There's no words to describe it. There's no words to describe the agony, the sheer agony of your connective tissue, your bones, your tendons, your joints, just shriveling and pulling and dehydrated and inflamed. And it's heartbreaking. And there's not much you could do after you reach a certain point because it takes time. Those conditions don't happen it takes decades for that to happen. So I don't know how far progressed she is. It sounds like she's pretty bad, but she should start working right away as soon as she figures out the bleeding thing, because that sounds like I wouldn't be messing around with that.
All right. You can't tell by looking at her that she's got scoliosis. I have scoliosis too. But you can't tell by
she's young still. She's young still. Yeah, that's good. If you can't tell that she's got scoliosis, that's really good. Have her get body work as soon as possible.
Is scoliosis something that can develop later in life, or is that something that happens at birth?
No. It's degenerative.
Okay.
Pharmacist Ben and,
yes.
and Barbara, you might want to speak to Yvonne Ray. Barbara, do you know Yvonne?
Yes, I've watched her on Daily with Doc.
Okay, so Yvonne, it's forabetteryou2.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen her take people with 60-degree and straighten them out. People with scoliosis, kyphosis, dowager's humps. Who
is this lady? A body worker?
She's I forget what she called, but she's one of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at me. I like to talk to her.
You've spoken to her before.
Really? And she does body work?
She doesn't do body work. She uses hokey stuff like electrical.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she uses tuning forks too. I think she said, I have a set of tuning forks.
What's her name?
Yvonne Ray.
Okay, I don't remember off the top of my head, but that's awesome. Check that out too.
Will do.
I like
Thank
you. To me, I had a back. Who was I talking to? I don't know. I hope I'm not repeating myself. I've done 3 shows today, so I don't know who I said what to. But I had this back thing about a month ago, and I for the first time I got to experience what it's like to have that, and you can't sleep. You can't. There's no way you can hold your body, and it was uncomfortable to walk. But when I went at night, I couldn't hold my body in any way. It was awful, absolutely awful. And I went to a roller, because I always go to the roller whenever that happens. Something happens weird like that. That's the first time I'm back, but other parts of my body happen too. Go to the roller, picks me up right away. And you know what he did? He opened up my hips. He worked on my hips. Over here, he opened up my hips. How in a million years would I ever known to do that? In a million years, I opened up my hips. And then he told me to hold my back up and breathe into it. And, gave me these things. Gone. It was for a month I had it. One day gone. Just by doing that. So
awesome.
Body work is not optional, I don't think. Especially if you have those kinds of issues.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I go to a chiropractor who also does myofascial massage.
Yeah.
So when I'm done with an adjustment, I've had a massage too. It's amazing.
Amazing. Remember I used to say, people vote for me, get a hot tub in your backyard. Vote for me and you get a massage every week on the government. National Massage Insurance.
Gotcha.
National Massage. Vote for me.
Vote
National Massage.
Barbara.
Hot tub in every backyard and National Massage Insurance.
All right.
Barbara, I'm going to see you in a little bit.
Give massage therapists $100,000 a year salary.
All right.
All right.
Bye, Barbara. Hang on, Elise. All right. So, Elise, question for you is, since Ben is against smoking, what do you think about recreational organic THC capsules or organic dry herb vaporizers?
Is this question for me?
Both
a healthy vaporizer would be if you wanted to vaporize flour, which I have clients with COPD and asthma, they use a volcano. Also, autistic.
Elise, they use the volcano vaporizer because they want to get high, or they want to help their COPD.
Both.
It will improve their COPD.
Yes, it reduces the inflammation because there's no heat. It's not.
It does
you're not inhaling.
It's medicinal. It's anti-inflammatory.
Yes, and that's what I do. I'm for my clients. It's the minimum effective dose. Anyone can get you high. That's not hard. I'm trying to help people, and also autistic children that are aggressive can smoke a high CBD flower through that volcano as well. And
I didn't know any of that stuff.
If Dr. Wallach could hear us now.
Well, it's a new world. It's a new world out. It's 2025. In Denver, they have cars driving around with no driver.
True.
Really? You got the Tesla one?
No, they just drive around. It's a whole new world here, guys. So whatever, all the old standards are out the window. So thank you, Elise, for helping people.
Yeah, that is good, especially to help some kids have some functionality. Thank you.
I have a question though for Pharmacist Ben. So in regards to the capsules that he's talking about, what do you think about that? Are they oxidizing?
Are they what?
Oxidizing? Is the oil oxidizing in the capsule?
It's in a gel cap, right? I've never seen the capsules. I imagine a gel cap, right?
Yes.
No, the gel caps don't oxidize. Probably eventually they'll oxidize, but they're good for a while. The gel caps. I don't even know if they'll probably oxidize after years. They probably oxidize, or at least a little. But no, they're good. The gel caps are good. So what do they put THC in the gel caps?
And my question to Hunter is, does he know the strain? Because that
all that matters.
It really does.
Yeah, but I think it might be just pure THC. I think
Well, THC, that is just marketing. When they slap a high THC percentage on packaging, that's just marketing because you could.
Can you get pure THC? They sell pure tetrahydrocannabinol.
So. It's like an isolate. Yes.
That's all.
But a 1-to-1 ratio, a 50-50 CBD to THC ratio will take you to the moon more than a high THC strain.
I went through the 70s, so I'm a little familiar with how this stuff works here. But let me tell you something. The stuff today, I don't go near. I don't even want to think about it such a. I haven't smoked in decades, and I wouldn't even imagine it. That stuff is like it's like what 40% THC that they're giving you now.
And that's why people are developing that cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome.
Probably.
It's blowing their receptors.
A lot of cannabinoid. Yeah, the fact that cannabinoids are natural, they're endocannabinoids, blah, 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 that doesn't mean you can just swamp like a tidal wave of cannabinoid on your cannabinoid system. That's not the point of it,
Exactly.
You should hear, that comedian Louis C.K.?
I don't
know him personally.
Yeah. Did you know him?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously.
I think he's hysterically funny. Tell him I'm a huge fan. Anyway, he tells a story about doing THC like after a show. And he's like, whoa, that's not, he talks about how intense it was, and how he didn't feel like doing it, how he, how wiped out he was. And I can imagine what that was like, because I've done too much in my day, and it ain't pleasant. So how do you know Louis C.K. though? You got me all intrigued there.
Well, there's this place in the village called the Comedy Cellar, and like you see Chris Rock, you see Louis, you see
do you hang out there?
Tracy Morgan, you see when I've bumped into like all the Saturday Night Live people and Kevin.
How is that? Just in the store, in the show? What is it, a club?
Yeah, my buddy passed away a few years ago. He was the bouncer, so I would stand there with him, and you see every comedian come.
He is a funny man, Louis C.K. He's a funny guy.
He's a nice guy. You know who's really the nicest? Colin Quinn.
I know. I've heard of him. Yeah.
Colin Quinn is the realest guy around. He's a good guy.
He's the Irish guy.
He's an Irish guy, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Hey, it's late. I gotta go.
All right, Elise. See you later, Pharmacist Ben. Thank you for another.
Thank you.
I'm trying to think of a word here. Another enlightening? No. Another
edifying. Edifying is the word.
No. Well, I mean, you should be edified, but I'm trying to think of one that kind of goes with cannabis. But at any rate, this will not happen next week. And Pharmacist Ben, I'll see you Friday.
I'll see you.